2487, this curved hook, and what this fly, when it sits in the water, the body's down in the water and the wing kind of holds it up, and then you can twitch it. And I'm going to tie this one on with this orange so you can actually see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to start my thread right at the eye, and I'm going to come back a quarter of the way, and I'm going to come back almost to the eye. And that's going to help me keep this elk hair from spinning on me. Huh?
What size?
That's a 12. You know, normally 12's at the upper range, you know, but I'd say 14, 16's probably would be the most prevalent size you tie. I'm going to put a little flex cement there, makes it a little bit stickier. And now with this elk hair, especially this yearling elk, it's got a lot of underfur in it, so I'm going to take at least a third more than I think I'm going to need, because I'm going to lose. If you can see that, I'm going to lose all that with that fuzz and stuff. And the best comb I've found for deer hair is this thing from Tiemco. It's a kind of a laser cut thing, and it's kind of rough, man. It's perfect. It just takes all the crap out of there. Really good. Even better. I used to use an old Ace comb or whatever it was. But this thing works even better. So you want to get all the underfur out of there. And then what I want to do is, after I do that, I want to get all the really short hair out of there. So I probably lost a third of the hair that I started with. My stacker. And when I take this hair out, I'm going to take it out in the direction I want the tips to go, so that you don't have to turn it around. And I want this forward wing, I want the length is going to be from about the back of the bend to the eye, so I'm going to kind of measure that out. And I'm going to spin my thread counterclockwise. And what that's going to do, when I tie it over, it's going to kick my thread toward my fingers instead of kicking it forward. You need to learn how to manipulate your thread. If you spin it in the direction you want to go, that's the direction it's gonna pop. So when I bring this over, see how that thread goes back toward my thumbs? If I spin it the other way, it's gonna go out. Yeah, it'll go out toward the eye. Or I can make it neutral, and it'll kind of go straight over. So I'm gonna measure my hair and get my point where I want it. I'm going to go over, and I'm going to pull up. See how tight it is? I've flared it, and I'm going to keep tension on it. And I'm not going to let go of the butts, and I'm going to, from the torque of the thread, it's kind of turned my hair to the side, so now I'm just going to kind of work it up so it's right up on top. Then I'm going to take my hair, bring it up at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to cut it straight off. And that's going to cut it at an angle rather than having it chopped straight off. I'm going to wind into the butts a little bit. At this point, I'm going to saturate it with flex cement. I'm kind of big on glue. Okay, so now at this point, I've got a piece of poly yarn here, and you can use whatever color you want, match the dubbing or whatever. That's kind of what I did here. The October Caddis, they're kind of a rusty orange color, so I'm going to put the tips of that right where I cut those butts off. I'm going to bind it down. I'm going to come down the bend of the hook here a ways. And then I'm going to cover most of that. Come right back to the butts. Now the color of the thread is going to kind of determine what the color of the underbody is, because I'm using this called Mirage Tinsel. Can you see that? Mm-hmm. It's by UTC, and it's stuff has really got a lot of flash to it, but it's kind of transparent. So whatever you use underneath it, it's going to kind of change the color of it. So I want a few inches of this, and this is going to be the lower body.
What size is that?
This is a medium. Comes in large, medium, and small. I use the medium mostly. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut a little angle on it. I'm just going to tie it in right here. Just a couple of wraps, 2 or 3 wraps. At this point I'm going to put a little flex cement on the rest of the body here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap this all the way down and I'm going to come all the way back. Make a double layer of this stuff. You do this a lot on streamer body. You probably do this, don't you, Gene, where you double wrap the tinsel bodies?
If I do a tinsel bodies, I always double wrap. It comes out cleaner and neater.
Yeah, and it covers
Either
everything.
the wire tinsel or the mylar tinsel, either way.
Yeah.
The bodies just come out so much nicer.
At this point, I'm just going to tie it off.
What is that trick that you use? You know, you wind it and then you unwind it, and then
Oh,
as
yeah.
you come back around the second time, then you wind over where you started.
So you have
it's
less
smoother
thread
glide.
wraps, yeah. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of dubbing on this, and this, you can see this stuff's pretty spiky. It's pretty coarse. You wouldn't want to use this on a 20, but it looks kind of cool on these, and it gives it a lot of life.
Is that UV?
No, this is some nature spirit stuff. It's half synthetic and half probably rabbit or something, or merino wool something. But you aren't going to need much dubbing here. We're just going to cover up the thorax here. Yeah, it comes in all colors. It's kind of cool. Here's another one. This is a kind of a spiky one too. But when it gets down small, you're probably going to want to use super fine or just plain rabbit or something.
Use UV.
You could use UV. Yeah, they're coming out with some kind of interesting UV stuff. Back at the show, there's some stuff I wanted to get. I got from Fly Tying Specialties. Okay, so at this point, this is where my back wing's gonna come in. So, talking about hair again. I'm looking for the right kind of hair. This is what I don't want. If you can see those long broken tips on that hair, and the long black tips. What happens with this hair is the longer the black tips, that part's hard and it won't flare. So if I'm going to tie down on that stuff, it's just going to stay straight like a round bundle. What I'm looking for is hair like this. It's got nice short tips on it, and it's going to flare from here down. And I could probably tie at 20 with this stuff. This is hair I use for like tying sparkle duns too. So I'm going to take a bunch of this hair, and how much you need is you just have to tie a few to kind of get a feel for that.
That's a lot softer, isn't it? Yeah.
Same thing. I'm going to take my comb. Now, if you notice, there's hardly any underfur in this compared to that yearling elk. If you look at it, it's real clean.
Would fly tying specialists have one of those 10-foot combs?
Yeah, they would. Yeah, them are actually just go online. It's made by Tiemco.
Okay.
So I don't know if the fly shop does. I forget where. I've got a couple of them. Yeah, that's a great comb. So I'm going to take the hair out the direction I want it to go, which this time is toward the bend of the hook. Couple bad hairs in there. Now on this wing, I want it about the same length. I want it from the bend of the hook right up to behind the base of that hair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure it. Hold it in my right hand. I'm going to switch over here. And I'm going to visually see where that's going to be, and I'm going to cut it. I tried doing this with leaving the butts, but what happens when you flare it? You got hair come out the front, you got butts come out the back, and trying. So So the secret here is just to cut it off and trap it right there. Now I want the very butts almost up to the back of that other hair. And I'm going to take a wrap and I'm going to really pull it down. I don't know if you can see that. I'm compressing that pretty good. I'm going to take a couple wraps, one on top of the other. And I'm going to take a wrap forward through the butts and then back here again. Hopefully it's going to stay. And then I'm going to saturate it with Flex Cement right there.
You don't give it a little bit of Flex Cement before you put it on the hook.
You probably could, but I want to saturate the thread. I want it to get stuck there. So now at this point I've got this wing is all bunched up together, and what I want to do, I'm going to take my scissors, I'm just going to kind of flatten it down. And I'm going to take the tips of my scissors and I want to try to split this hair pretty evenly right down the middle. As best I can. At the same time I'm going to grab this poly yarn. I'm just going to pull it right up through the middle.
That's kind of clever.
So I split the wing. Kind of get it, take a look at it, and I want the poly yarn basically right on top of the hook there. And I'm going to take my thread, and I'm going to take one wrap right here, pull it down, and then I'm going to take, well, I can let go of that now. I'm going to take this wing and just kind of hold it, and I'm going to make about 3 good wraps right there. One on top of the other. Cut the butts off. So you do that pretty good. You get one wrap of thread right in there. And I'm just going to pull the wing up. And I'm going to kind of post it up because I want the wing to be, front wing to be kind of kicked up. And I'm just going to whip it off. Let's see what I'm doing here.
Is the front wing so you can see it, or does it?
No, that's what enables it to skate. Otherwise, when you pulled it, when you twitched it, you would want to dive in. But the wing, you end up spreading that wing. See how it's kicked up from the eye?
Yeah.
You can see that or not. And that allows it to skate. Kind of like what was the waking fly they used for steelhead. Same kind of idea. It kind of sticks up.
I wonder how you,
Yeah.
I wonder how you split that, but you don't have to figure eight.
No.
Anything else.
The poly yarn.
Just let
Yeah.
the poly do it.
Yeah, and then I just drop a little more glue there,
Really cool.
and then I'll turn it over and glue the thread. Yeah, this thing holds up pretty well. I think I used one all day. I caught 8 or 9 fish on it now on the same fly. I'll just glue it there. And that's it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Interesting fly, yeah, it works well. But it's all dependent on the deer hair. It doesn't mean you can be the best tyer in the world. If your materials don't fit what you're tying, you're not going to be able to tie it. So deer hair is critical in that respect. Probably more so than any material, I think. Hackles, now we can get all the hackle we want. It used to be hard to get, but now you've got the money, you can get anything you want. But,
The poly yarn over the back's 100% easier
then the deer hair, but yeah,
than the deer. But that's what I've done mine in, and that's
yeah.
and then trying to use that to separate
Right.
the wings and up.
And that's the critical thing too. The thing about it is in order to be able to pull it over, you got to have some nice long hair that's fine enough to do it. So you got to go through and find a good piece of hair. And when you're trying to pull that thing over and you're trying to split that wing, it doesn't work. But with a poly yarn, you can just stick your scissors in there and get it opened up and just pull it over. And it's very durable too. So.